tonight. The fire at a heritage building in downtown Regina is finally out, and plans begin to tear it down. Also, a massive search is underway for a nonverbal 5-year-old boy who went missing in Alberta, not far from the Saskatchewan border. Plus, in federal politics, the Speaker of the House of Commons, Anthony Rota, has resigned after honoring a war vet who fought for the Nazis.
This is CBC Saskatchewan News.
It is Tuesday, September 26th, and the CBC Saskatchewan News starts right now. Good evening and thank you for watching. After burning for more than 24 hours and visibly smoldering for nearly the same amount of time, the fire appears to be out at a downtown Regina heritage building known as Gordon Block. And as Jesse Anton reports, talks are turning to what's next and what happened.
It looks like the building has finally given up.
Regina Fire Marshal Randy Ribas says on the outside, the Gordon Block blaze looks to be extinguished. But on the inside, there could still be hot spots. That's why crews remain on scene, waiting for a demolition crew to help investigators. They plan to take apart the 111-year-old building piece by piece.
It's just not a safe place to be, have my inspectors, investigators, or myself go in. So it's all being done from the outside and above.
Ribas says investigators will work to figure out if there are any victims and what might have sparked the flames. The building was vacant for more than a decade, so he says the utilities were shut off. And despite his crews noticing separate incidents of a man tampering with natural gas meters in the area, he doesn't expect that to be the cause. Sask Energy also confirms after its own inspection of Gordon Block, its crews are confident the fire is unrelated to the string of vandalism. The building was actually slated for demolition last year, but it was cancelled after the city and property owner, Harvard Developments, agreed to maintain the building instead. The city says it will try to preserve pieces of it as best it can, and it plans to work with Harvard to see what will go there next. But the city says it will not be another parking lot.
This is within the Victoria Park Heritage District, and so collaboratively we need to talk about what that might look like and make sure that it's in line with the plan.
Fire and demolition crews are expected to remain on Pat Fiacco Plaza for the rest of the week. That means people will have to avoid the area, including Wednesday's farmers market, which has been relocated down Scarth Street. Jesse Anton, CBC News, Regina.
Regina's acting police chief says their new plane is making it easier to catch people accused of pointing lasers at aircraft. Police charged 7 men in the last 9 months for pointing lasers at planes. In many cases, the person was targeting the police plane. Some were aiming at planes landing at the airport. Acting Chief Dean Ray says the arrests would have been more difficult without the plane.
Our plane is allowing us to identify those people that are doing this and take quick and swift response into those, because if our plane isn't up in the air, we have an area that it occurred, and it could be a fairly large area within the city if it's a commercial pilot providing that information to us. When our plane is in there, they can see where it is and they can hone in on that very quickly and identify the address and hopefully the suspect at that time.
Each of the individuals have been charged with mischief endangering life, which does carry a maximum sentence of life in prison. Police say they are investigating incidents of other aircraft being hit with lasers. Significant changes are coming to Saskatoon's Emergency Wellness Centre. The Saskatoon Tribal Council says it doesn't have the resources to help people who are violent or using drugs at the shelter. Ashwarya Duda has more on what's next.
The chief of Saskatoon Tribal Council called a press conference to send a clear message. Those who don't respect the rules will be shown the door.
We have kids there, we have families there, and it's really causing a disruption for the wellness part.
Saskatoon's Emergency Wellness Centre will remove 30 people with complex needs from the facility starting October 1st. Complex needs include substance use on the property or violent behavior.
Because there's people that are getting violent, there's people that are threatening, there's people that are using the needles as kind of like a weapon. So it's very, very scary for people, including our staff and including relatives. And the scariest thing is there's kids here.
The Emergency Wellness Center first opened in December 2021 at a temporary downtown location. It had room for 75 people. A year later, it moved to a more permanent location in the Fairhaven neighborhood with 106 beds. Chief Mark Arkan says he doesn't have the funding to take care of people with complex needs. But Saskatoon police say kicking them out moves the problem onto the streets.
Our workload is likely going to increase, as Tribal Chief indicated, with level 3 individuals. Complex needs are nothing new for us. The challenge for us has always been where do people go? And if we've got more of these folks out in the community, safety is our primary concern.
Chief Arkan says it was a tough decision, but their organization wants to focus on helping families. The STC has moved 32 families into another facility called Codawin 1, but Arkan says more facilities are needed. He also says the government needs to help these people with complex needs. Ashwarya Duda, CBC News, Saskatoon.
The University of Regina launched a new strategic plan today to improve Indigenous engagement and education. The university says it's honoring its commitment to truth and reconciliation. The plan lays out 34 actions to foster and mend relationships with Indigenous communities, to acknowledge truths, to break down barriers, and to advance teaching and learning experiences for students. Lori Campbell will take on the new role of Associate Vice President of Indigenous Engagement.
We've done lots of things in the past that were important about, Indigenous workshops, learning about us, learning about our history. And so some of those things, all those things are still important and will be ongoing. But what this plan does is it looks at more of the systemic things that have accidentally were created without Indigenous peoples in mind and have accidentally, disallowed us to, show our Indigenous excellence alongside, other excellence within the institution.
Campbell says the strategic plan was drafted in consultation with Indigenous faculty members and students. MLAs don't return to the Saskatchewan legislature for another month, but the opposition NDP are offering a preview of their priorities for the upcoming fall sitting. NDP leader Carla Beck and her team are meeting in Saskatoon this week. Beck spoke with the media this afternoon. She says her caucus will focus on the cost of living and health care over the next few months. She says the Saskatchewan party government is spending money on billboards that do not reflect reality.
This summer, I don't know how much the Sask party spent on billboards trying to tell you that your life was better instead of actually making it better. One of those billboards was right outside the food bank in Regina. A food bank, like other food banks in the province, that has seen a 40-year high in the number of people using that food bank. I think people are seeing through that.
Beck says the NDP winning 3 of the last 4 by-elections shows that people are not responding to the current government's direction. The fall sitting begins October 25th. Alberta police and community members are continuing a search for a missing 5-year-old boy. Jaeger Cross Memnook was last seen at home on Monday afternoon on Frog Lake First Nation. The community is 90 kilometers northwest of Lloydminster, not far from the Saskatchewan border. Travis McEwen has more.
We're right near the house where 5-year-old Jaeger Cross Memnook went missing on Monday. Now, the boy is nonverbal, so that is a bit of a challenge here. And on top of that, this is a very rugged area as well. There's rolling hills, there's lakes behind us, and RCMP say there's about 100 people searching all across this area. And the local Frog Lake chief, he estimates even more, says there's people that have been showing up throughout the day, says it's closer to 250, maybe even 300 as well. Now we're seeing everything from horses out here to dune buggies to trikes and bikes, really anything they can get out and search this area. And on top of that, they're singing Itsy Bitsy Spider, some people playing it on speakers. That happens to be the 5-year-old's favorite song, and there is hope that he's going to be found.
It's remote, a lot of trees, a lot of bushes, a lot of lease roads, some bodies of water, so a lot of ways he could have gone, and there's really no clear indication to my knowledge of which way he took.
This little boy, a lot of people love him, and he has a lot of energy, and he has that gift, of his own spirit inside him, and we're just overwhelmed, and we're thankful for the support, and we just want to find him today. The feeling is still optimistic hope that we're going to find him, and we just want the people to think of us and pray for us, pray for safety of the people that are out there, that nobody gets hurt while they're looking for him, and maybe for him not to be scared, and send him that good energy to come to where somebody can find him.
Now, obviously, the lack of daylight will create a challenge, but crews never actually stopped searching for the boy, and they're expecting to do that again into the night. Travis McEwen, CBC News, Frog Lake.
Well, this is one way to get across water in a landlocked province like Saskatchewan. Just a quick trip for these guys across the South Saskatchewan River on the Clarkborough Ferry. It was another warm day across south and central areas, but it looks like those days are numbered. Ethan will have your forecast after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back. It can be hard for a neighborhood to shake a bad rap. Saskatoon's 20th Street West has long been mired by stigma, but things have started to change. As Pratush Dayal reports, area residents say it's worth you taking a closer look.
20th Street in Saskatoon has a reputation for crime, substance use, and homelessness. But talk to people who live and work here, and they see it as so much more.
Hi, Monica. How are you?
Fine. How are you?
For Monica Ermine, 20th Street is home. She's been a sex trade worker here for 2 decades. Ermine struggles with substance use disorder, and she says this is the only place in the city where people look out for each other.
If it wasn't for 20th Street, I think I would be gone.
Ermine says the challenges facing 20th Street are not unique to the West Side.
In all cities, it's like that, It's just territorial. I don't know why, but it's just we should all learn to get along and actually work with each other instead of fighting each other. And I think it's coming along now, actually.
And there are plenty of people willing to help on 20th.
Hi, how are you, Larissa?
Inside the Saskatoon Community Clinic, we meet Dr. Larissa Kiesman. She helps hundreds of patients in crisis. The clinic is one of the organizations that attracts vulnerable people to the area because help is scarce in other parts of the city.
For a lot of individuals, this is a great place for them to be. They have access to many community-based organizations down this whole strip of the city, and the organizations that are doing the hard work of filling those gaps in the community, feeding people, housing people, connecting them to culture, connecting them to healthcare, that's all here.
20th Street seems to have everything a resident of Saskatoon could need, from attending church to accessing a supervised consumption site to buying flowers at this flower shop. It has been around for more than 30 years, so I wanted to learn what about this neighborhood has kept its owner here.
Jennifer Sanger says 20th Street is a vibrant community.
There's a big Ukrainian community, there's a lot of immigrants, there's a lot of elderly, there's a lot of First Nations, there's so many different ethnic groups down here that you're missing out on a lot by not coming down here.
A customer once told Sanger a bridge should be built over 20th Street so people could bypass the neighborhood.
Even from the time I was a kid, 20th had a stigma attached to it. And I'd like to see that broken because, like I said, there's a lot of great people in this neighborhood.
Not far from the edge of Riversdale is Primal Pasta. Owner and chef Christy Peters is committed to revitalizing this area. So much so, she's opened a second location across the street.
Really tasty.
While working in Vancouver, Peters saw parallels between the downtown east side and 20th Street in Saskatoon.
I saw this beautiful restaurant thriving right next to the safe injection site, right next to the homeless shelter, right next to a beautiful boutique. So there was all these things happening in the same neighborhood, and I took note of that.
Peters says people shouldn't avoid 20th Street. They should spend more time here.
If you want your neighborhood to be safe, then go out and walk around in your neighborhood. And the more people that go out and walk around in the neighborhood, the safer it becomes.
Monica Ermine wants the same for 20th Street. For her and others who have made their lives here, the west side is not the wrong side of town. Pratish Dayal, CBC News, Saskatoon.
This weather update is brought to you by Mercedes-Benz Regina, proud member of the Capital Automotive Group.
And our weather specialist, Ethan Williams, joins me now. You know, for a day that was supposed to be super windy, it's not actually that bad. I mean, it's windy, but it's not that bad.
Yeah, when you consider that temperatures today, we're playing a game of, is it July? Is it August? No, it's September 26th. Can you believe it? And yeah, it really, the wind sort of took the edge off things a little bit, but not by very much because, you know, look at these temperatures here at about 6:15 or so, still in the mid to upper 20s for a lot of us, again, kind of in that southwestern and west central part of the province. And there's a bit of a temperature divide here, though, only sitting around 18 degrees in Yorkton, still above seasonal, but a big difference. And yes, a lot of us getting over 30 degrees today. Rosetown, our winner, nearly 32. Swift Current, Saskatoon, Environment Canada rounds your temperatures up to 30 degrees, so you're honorary members of the 30-degree club. And I'm going to stick on Rosetown just for a second here because just to show you how remarkable this heat is, today was almost double the normal for this time of year. And it was actually the hottest day we've had this month, despite some warm temperatures kind of at the beginning of the month as well. And we actually haven't seen a day this hot this late in the year, and a temperature at least higher than 31.7. We have not seen that in Rosetown past this point in at least 30 years of record keeping. That's how far back the public records go. So yeah, it just shows you how warm things are. And the reason it's so warm, part of the reason anyway, this big ridge in the upper atmosphere, which is built in through not only Saskatchewan, but a good chunk of the eastern portion of the province as well. But you can see we're just kind of on the edge of a change here because in the rest of Western Canada, some more unsettled and cooler weather has been happening, and that will eventually begin to move our way. The jet stream dropping southward and some of that cooler air and more unsettled conditions going to be headed in our direction. Part of that comes from this low pressure system, a pretty intense system off the coast of BC. Don't think we'll see effects like they've been seeing, upwards of 60 to 90 millimeters of rain, gusts over 100 kilometers an hour in some sections. But we are going to see a little bit of remnants of that in advance of that system moving our way. Some showers moving southwest to northeast through portions of Saskatchewan tomorrow, but that should move out as we head through the day. Then another round of it impacting south central and southeastern Saskatchewan early Thursday morning. The north gets some of it Thursday as we head into Friday. And we're still going to kind of be unsettled with some patchy showers here and there as we head into the weekend. But the winds should be diminishing overnight tonight and into tomorrow. Still a little bit breezy at times, especially in central sections. And then picking up a little bit again as we head into Thursday in southern Saskatchewan. But otherwise, temperatures tomorrow still pleasant in Regina. And even though we're going to be seeing a little bit of that morning wind, things should be pretty nice as we head through the day. And that's kind of when that unsettled pattern starts to head our way with those cooler temperatures. Saskatoon, again, a big difference for you tomorrow in temperature, close to 30 today, but closer to 20 with a little bit of morning showers before that moves out. And yes, Sam, some cooler temperatures here, but compared to normal, still pretty nice.
You hear me go, woo, for the nighttime lows. We are getting into spooky and turkey season, so it has to cool off eventually.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to scare those turkeys off if it doesn't get cool enough.
Thanks, Ethan.
You bet.
That's a killer whale known as Old Tom, spotted near Great Manan Island, just off the south coast of New Brunswick. The whale's been known around the Bay of Fundy for several years, but is not spotted very often. Orcas are rare in the area, but Old Tom stands out because he always swims with a pod of white-sided dolphins. We'll be back after the break.
When it comes to your news, you want up-to-the-minute access. Anytime, anywhere. Get the facts straight from the source. Download the free CBC News app or visit cbcnews.ca for news you can trust.
The Speaker of the House of Commons, Anthony Rota, has resigned from the position. He made the announcement this afternoon. On Friday, he'd honored a veteran of a Nazi-aligned military unit in Parliament. Catherine Cullen has the latest.
He seemed to know this morning his days as Speaker were numbered.
Will you be sticking on as Speaker of the House?
We'll have to see about that.
But in case there was uncertainty, Anthony Rota received one push.
I'm sure he's reflecting now on how to ensure the dignity of the House going forward.
Then many more.
And I think the Speaker should listen to members of the House and step down.
I think it's time for him to do the honor.
I hope and believe
that the Speaker will reflect on how truly serious and damaging this error was, and will do the honorable thing.
Rhoda's error came on Friday. During the Ukrainian president's visit, Rhoda honored this man from his riding, 98-year-old veteran Yaroslav Hunka.
He's a Ukrainian hero, a Canadian hero, and we thank him for all his service.
It soon came to light that Hunka fought with a Nazi-aligned military unit. Rhoda apologized, but the international embarrassment and personal pain has been unrelenting.
This man is not a hero. He is a monster, and he had no business being here.
And so finally,
the work of this House is above any of us. Therefore, I must step down as your Speaker.
Though tensions remained high, as Conservatives blamed the government and the House leader's effort to remove the ovation from Hunka from the official record.
She tried to strike it from the historical record of this House as if it never happened. A descendant of Holocaust survivors distorting the Holocaust. You should be ashamed of yourself.
While the member opposite tries to personally attack me, I will actually stay focused. It was the Speaker who decided to invite this individual.
As he left, Rhoda tried to offer reassurance.
The important thing is that Parliament continues in democracy. Democracy lives and works in Canada. That's what comes above all else.
MPs will now elect a new speaker, but the damage to Canada's reputation in the world won't be fixed that quickly. Catherine Cullen, CBC News, Ottawa.
And Ethan is back with one last look at your weather.
And after a warm day, a warm night in Regina, you could still go for a walk comfortably without a jacket on at midnight. 16 degrees, still a little bit breezy though. Those winds going to be diminishing as we head through the night and into tomorrow. Cloud cover starting to build in for the 8 a.m. hour. But then as we start to head through the day, we will start to see that begin to back away. 20 degrees on our way to a high of 23 in Regina tomorrow. Saskatoon, very warm at midnight, still near 20 degrees after a day near 30 for you. And as we get into the morning hours, possible showers between kind of 6 and 8 a.m. I think is the best chance, but then that is quickly clearing away as well. As we head to the afternoon, looking at those sunny conditions, southwest winds picking up a little bit here and there. Maybe not quite as warm as today, Sam, but still very nice.
Still really nice. Thanks so much, Ethan.
You bet.
And before we leave you tonight, a Saskatoon company that has achieved great success for putting drones in the sky is celebrating a milestone on the ground. Dragonfly unveiled its new state-of-the-art headquarters today. Since it started in Saskatoon 25 years ago, it's become world-renowned for its cutting-edge technology. Currently, it has drones deployed in Ukraine, delivering medical relief and detecting dangerous explosives. The company recently signed a contract with the U.S. military and even helped wildfires in Canada this summer.
So just this summer, we were flying missions for province on wildfires. And in those wildfires, we were spotting, underground fires at night. We were spotting micro weather systems during the day. Very quickly, we're migrating to our drones, actually delivering equipment into hotspots. So things like chainsaws or gasoline or hoses or stuff that was just never contemplated before, because we've got the level of experience that can build the types of drones that are used in those real world scenarios.
The CEO says the new facility will allow Dragonfly to scale up production. Each month, it will manufacture hundreds of drones locally and thousands more globally. And that's it for us tonight. For news anytime, head to our website, our YouTube channel, or download the CBC News app. Ethan and I will be back with more local news and weather tonight at 11. Thanks for watching, and have a great night.